Hey, what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records. Another Monday with Miles Davis, and we're talking about the great album "Someday My Prince Will Come." This kind of marks a transitional period for Miles. Also, it's really kind of the last studio album that Coltrane plays on, and really the last studio album with his rhythm section of Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers, and Jimmy Cobb. They're going to go off and form the Wynton Kelly Trio. Of course, Coltrane's going to go off and change music history. Hank Mobley's on this record, and it's really a great record. I discovered this in the early 2000s. In fact, my daughter Zoe remembers when she was a child, we had a CD player by the bathtub, and we would do bath time and listen to this record. We would listen to Chick Corea's Bud Powell album, but she remembers this record. In fact, that she owns this record. That's Frances Taylor. That's Miles's wife. She's been on many covers, including ESP that we did last week. She was on the Black Hawk albums. She's on multiple covers. Frances Taylor. We're going to get into this album track by track. I really like this. Tio Macero is the producer. This came out in December of 61 from 3 sessions in March of 61. In 1960, Miles worked with Sonny Stitt on saxophone. He worked with Jimmy Heath on saxophone, all trying to replace Coltrane. And really, he settles on Hank Mobley to replace Coltrane. And it just so happens, again, that Coltrane does play on 2 tracks on this record. So this album has 6 total tracks. And it opens up with "Someday My Prince Will Come." And, Dave Brubeck had done "Someday My Prince Will Come" with his quartet. But it's really this version that is just absolutely gorgeous. Miles has the mute in. He plays with distinguished passion. Mobley takes the first solo over kind of crystalline Wynton Kelly piano playing. Wynton Kelly really shines on this album too. But what blows that away is the sax solo that Coltrane does. Coltrane just really plays an exquisite solo. As good as Hank Mobley's solo is here, the real man himself, Coltrane, steps in. This is the back of the record. Miles with his cigarette reading some music, right? It's a standout track on any Miles Davis record for me. Composed by Frank Churchill and Larry Money. I can't see without my glasses, and I don't know where they are. Some of the fine print. Anyway, great track. The next track is "Old Folks." No Coltrane on this, just the quintet with Mobley. Miles again has a mute. You can actually hear him rock back in a I guess maybe a rocking chair or something. Not a rocking chair, but maybe some sort of chair that he's sitting on right before he takes one of his phrases. Listen closely at the 1 minute and 14-second mark. He's about to do another trumpet phrase, and you can hear him rocking in a chair. I thought that was interesting. Gathering his thoughts for his next, phrase. You can hear the breath. These albums are so well recorded. You can hear the breath and the expression. In the horn. It's just so cool. Again, Mobley really shines on "Old Folks." It's a very nice track. Doesn't have the pressure of Coltrane breathing down his neck. So he can go into a session without Coltrane looking at him and do what he does best, which is play. Kelly again glides on a beautiful solo. And then Miles closes that tune out. The third track is "Francing." This is a tribute to his wife Frances, also known as No Blues. Inspired by the beauty of Frances Taylor. Again, she's a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. And really the love of Miles' life. Miles never gets over her. And if you've seen the documentary on Miles, it's a rocky relationship they had for sure. Miles was not always as good to her as maybe he could have been. Miles loves playing the blues. Again, this is a great track for that. Kelly shines yet here again. This is the last studio album again with that classic rhythm section of Kelly, Cobb, and Chambers. Chambers had been there since 54, 55. Cobb and Kelly come in 58, replacing Red Garland and Philly Joe Jones. Flip the album over and you have Dread Dog. It's a Miles Davis composition. It's 4 minutes and 50 seconds. This is paying homage to CBS president Goddard Lieberson. Slow-moving ballad, meandering through a moody, foggy night is what I wrote. You can just hear the presence and the ambiance of New York and in the late 60s. Excuse me, the early 60s. And it offers a contrast to the next song. So it's a very slow moving ballad, but the next song is maybe the highlight of the record, along with the title track is Teo. Clearly, named after their producer, Teo Macero. Coltrane emerges again without Mobley. So this is now just a quintet with just Coltrane, Miles, Kelly, Chambers, and Cobb. And really, let's face it, kind of the classic quintet of Miles there. Cobb, stick work invokes kind of sketches of Spain. He's doing some stuff with the sticks. Miles is doing some Middle Eastern tones and modal passages and chords. Really adds some flair to Teo. Coltrane takes you on a magic carpet ride, really into outer space. And it's one thing when a Hank Mobley or a Sonny Stitt or Sam Rivers or George Coleman takes solos, and they're all great players, and they're all, doing the Parker thing. When Coltrane takes off, it's just another level of playing, and it's just so evident, that he has the harmony in his mind still. He's still playing the harmony, but he can deconstruct it and reconstruct it and just weave in and out of it on a level that few people have ever been able to do. And that's what makes Teo such a great track. The thought, I Thought About You is the last song on this record. And by the way, Teo is also written by Miles. I Thought About You, I wrote the baby making song again. Fine Davis album. It's a way to finish this song off. Again, so long to the collaborations with Coltrane, with Jimmy Cobb, with Wynton Kelly and Paul, and really so long to the 50s. Yes, this album was recorded in March of '61, but it's still a hard bop album. It's really going forward, will he start changing? Yeah, I guess 7 Steps to Heaven, similar to this. But he's lost all his compadres, and, he's going to go find a new band, ultimately bringing in Hancock and Carter and Williams, and I guess Coleman, and then eventually, Shorter. Again, this is a great album. It's a lovely track. And Miles' phrasing is just that of masters playing. I believe that Hank Mobley would stay on with the band until 1963. And I think that Wynton Kelly did play with Miles in a live capacity further than just this. In fact, I want to say that Mobley does, or that Kelly does continue playing with Miles to a certain capacity live. But this is a great record. I really enjoy this one. Let's pick next week's record that we're going to talk about in our little jar here. Nefertiti, 1968, recorded in 1967. This is Miles' second great quintet. This is going to be a fun one to do. Nefertiti is really in the middle of his second great quintet. You know, opens up, the first album is the one we did last week, which ESP. I think then Miles Smiles in 65. And this is recorded in 1967. This is going to be a fun one to do. Check out my channel. Subscribe if you like this content. We try to do shows every day. Peace out. We'll see you next week on Monday with Miles Davis. Bye-bye.